Conversations with people who have some information about this. I've met quite a few of them lately. One of the things they have told me is that cattle rustling, was a direct precursor to what we are dealing with now. What is the connection between banditry, which is almost going full-scale terrorism now, and cattle rustling?
Right. So if you look back, way back, because we did not just jump into this, we went into this to learn, and we're still learning. We're still learning from people there. If you go back, what was the genesis? I'm Fulani, we have folks in the forest that have cattle. This is not who we are. And nobody should tell me, oh, they came from Mali, they came from Senegal. No, they are ours. So how did we get here? Just like every Kanuri should ask himself, how did we get there? Just like every Igbo man should ask himself, how did we get there with this IPO? So we are asking ourselves, how did we get here? That was why we went into the forest to find out. You sit down, the Sheikh one, we go. Before we go into the forest, we meet their Ardos. Ardos are their leaders. We meet local leaders. Because it is the Fulanis and the local host communities everywhere that have problems. The local leaders, the Ardos. We go to see the Emir before we go into the forest to hear them. When we come back out of the forest, we go back to the same people, we go back to the government. What are those things that you heard? This is what we hear.
Yes.
So from the people and from the history. And there is a report by IGP, former IGP, MD Abubakar. In Zamfara, 279 pages.
Interesting.
About the genesis of banditry. Zamfara, that's where it started. So it started, there's a long-term history of injustices meted at Fulani for a very long time. We knew that by local judges, local traditional rulers. But then it started with 1999. All the arable, all the lands they have lived in for generations were taken over by politicians and given out. Their cattle rule, they had the roots, they have no place to graze their cattle. And then Fulanis, they started rustling each other's cattle. And the Fulani, you don't have cattle, then you're nobody. What do the youth do? They started doing robbing. They started stealing, they started, and then the local host communities formed militia when this thing continued, and they started killing. And militia anywhere in the world, they are not properly trained, they overdo it. So there was this thing, they go into the forest, they kill Fulanis, so it exacerbated. What did the Fulanis and their youth do? They retreated back into the forest and decided to, what they are saying, protect themselves, because what they are seeing is an existential threat to their race. So they will come to you.
In the media, at least, and the popular perception of these people, this issue, people don't see that the bandits or the Fulani as being the aggrieved party. They are seen as the aggressors rather than the aggrieved
So then you ask yourself,
contrary
right,
to...
good. Then you ask yourself how we get here. What you hear in the media, social media, people that say it. We have been there, we have seen it. We have talked to this, we have risked our lives. We've been in the forest, we don't go get Truji till 10 p.m. driving out and reaching our accommodation 1, 2 a.m. So we're not just...
But were they themselves...
So how did we get here? So they retreated back into the forest. There was no government, and because over the years, because of lack of authority, there were a lot of ungoverned spaces. So they retreated. After all these local militias were killing them, they retreated back into the forest, and they will come to your house, fellow Fulani. If you have a child that can fight, they conscript him. Or you pay, you sell cattle, you pay for them to amass their armament. Once they start having that, boy, did they start unleashing terror on local communities that terrorized them. And then it all got messy. So you'd ask yourself, all this time, where was the government? Local government especially. Local government and state government, where were they? In Zamfara state. They were missing in action. They were complicit in all of this. And then you have, they say, some traditional rulers. Traditional rulers are put between the rock and the hard place.
Thank you.